It's Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE 47, serving Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. Welcome to our last Thursday in June. It doesn't seem like that long ago that we were celebrating the end of the school year and looking forward to a nice, long, restful, and rejuvenative summer. And here we are at the end of June, looking forward to the start of July as we move through our summer together. It is time for another Teacher Talk today. And as you know, this month we've been kind of wrapping up our year, looking ahead to our new fiscal year and some of the things that are going on in our office. And we would be remiss if we did not mention the fact that there are some really important things going on for our educators that we all need to be aware of. So we make sure that we're meeting all those important deadlines. So we are going to have some licensure conversations this morning. And so to do so, I am joined this morning by my friend, colleague, and co-host, Ms. Stacy Dingus. Good morning, Ms. Stacy. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday, Angie. Good morning. I think all educators were doing them a favor by having this chat today. Definitely something that I know as a teacher. Years ago, I was always trying to scramble about where to look and what to do. And so I think this is going to be a good one today.
I agree with you, Stacy. And what I think is the most fun about our conversation this morning is that we get to spend some time with our favorite licensure person. And many of you in our Facebook community have probably called her and spoken with Mary on the phone, but you are getting an inside glimpse at Mary Escamilla, the ROE 47 licensure officer. So when you call her and you hear her voice on the phone, now you know what she looks like, and you know the beautiful background that she usually has behind her. So good morning, Mary.
Good morning, Angie. Good morning, Stacy.
You know, Mary, I know that maybe you talk with people every day and answer some really important questions. Never been on video before, so we are so excited to have a little fun with you this morning while getting some important information out to our educators. So are you ready?
Glad to help. I'm always glad to help anyone. And I don't know the answer. I have a lot of people to ask. So that's my motto. I'll find out.
And Mary really does. Mary goes the extra mile for all of our Lee, Ogle, Whiteside County educators. And so today we're just hoping, Mary, to give our teachers a little bit of help. It's always wonderful to watch these recordings and maybe even go back and listen again to make sure they're not missing anything, because we know licensure is so important. We want to make sure that we can keep working in our schools and serving our students. So Stacy and I have some questions for you this morning. And we're very happy that you're so pleased to buckle in and help us out with these questions. So my first question for you would be, I'm a teacher. I noticed that my Ellis account says that I need to renew. I've got a big alert on my account. So what do I do? And what are my requirements for renewing? And is there a deadline? Help us out.
Okay, well, if you're due to renew this year, there is a sort of deadline, and that is June 30th of the year you're due to renew, but there's a grace period until August 31st of that year. So you don't want to forget past August 31st, though, because on September 1st, your license will lapse. And the requirements to renew are to have your 120 hours of professional development entered into your Ellis account. And that's if you've been actively teaching all 5 years, 50% or more time. If you took a year off, you were on a leave of absence, or just stayed home with the kids or whatever, you don't owe for those years. Or if you're in a private school teaching, you don't owe any PD for those years. And if you're retired, you don't owe PD, except for the years that you were active. And so that is the question or the problem that most people have. they aren't realizing that their professional development employment status is not right. So a lot of the retired teachers, Ellis somehow changed them back to active. So they need to go in and mark themselves retired, and the renewal button will pop up. If you're short a few hours, if you get those entered, the renewal button will pop up. I would say that retired thing is the problem that I've had the most calls about. That would be the one, but there's other instances too. So the 120 hours, I hope everybody knows about before it gets to be the last month of the renewal season though.
I know, Mary, we've had a lot of calls about that too. People looking for their evidence of completion for their professional learning to make sure they can renew. Are there any other things as a licensed educator that I need to know about, or is it really that easy?
It's really that easy. I mean, at the one wonderful thing that the state board has done for the retirees is they don't even have to pay the fee. They have a free renewal, but they still have to go through the steps and log into their Ellis account and go through, and then they can sub, they can just stay retired, they can even go back to work. And they want that for the educators so that we have more subs. But really the renewal is easy in Ellis, as long as Ellis is having a good day that day.
Very true. Sometimes we get those technological glitches. I'm glad you mentioned subs because if I'm a paraeducator or if I'm a substitute, do I follow a similar process? What do I need to be worried about as June 30th approaches?
Well, they do have the same renewal date, but there are no professional development requirements. If they do forget, or maybe they are not going to sub next year, or they're not going to work next year, their license won't lapse. It just sits there invalid. And if they wait 2 years to go in and renew, it'll just charge them the extra 2 years, but it will just let you renew. So that is good. I had a lot of people come back that decided to sub again, and that worked for them. They just renewed, started a new 5-year cycle, and went on from there. It's all done through the Ellis account with your debit or credit card.
Mary, I know that the Illinois licensure is constantly changing. It's changed often since when I started the process years ago. What changes are on the horizon for our ROE 47 educators that you could kind of fill us in on?
Okay, well, usually I will say to people, I usually find out about the same time you do. The information in the past has kind of dribbled down. So sometimes it would be in the paper. That's how I would find out. But they are starting to have more webinars where they clue us into things that are pending. And so there's two good things that are going to happen in the future. And one is in regard to the professional development opportunities. And it's a new system. They say it's in the baby stages. It's called PD Plus. And this will be where every ROE or every approved provider can enter their opportunities into this system, and any educator can see what's available and what they'd like to go to or attend online or whatever the format is. But the advantage to this is, besides seeing lots of different opportunities, all the records will be kept in this system. So the ROEs won't have to worry about so much paperwork in their building. The educators, when they attend something and they're verified that they completed it, the PD hours will go automatically over to their Ellis account. So that's a big advantage. They don't have to actually have their binder full of forms, and they don't even have to bother entering it. And this is supposed to help the state with the audit system. So that's a really good thing. We're skeptical on Ellis because it doesn't always do what it's supposed to do. It's a big system that has to do lots of things, but if they get it going, I think it'll be really great and help a lot of areas. And then the other thing that they have are some proposed short-term approvals. So these would be different pathways to licensure. And there's some approvals that can be added already that are good for 3 years. And, some of them require a supervisor to be over the teacher. But there's 2 things that I thought were really good. One is the content knowledge pathway. And this is if a person has a degree in business or math or history or something, they have 32 hours and have passed the content area test. They can get a 3-year license, begin to teach. This is if a district can't find a suitable candidate with the full license. Of course, there would have to be a mentor supervisor with the teacher. And eventually they are supposed to be in a program that is going to issue them a professional educator license. So they are working toward their full license, but can begin to teach while they're working. So that's good. They can make money. The district will have a teacher, and the person already has a lot of knowledge, but their knowledge that they need is more like the methods or the classroom management and the curriculum. So, and then the other area where that short-term approval is the clinical route to licensure for a school support personnel person. So a person that has a social work license, speech pathologist license through the state of Illinois or another state can get the school support license and begin to work as in that position. And then they are to be working toward the professional educator license also. So those are big deals if somebody changes their mind when they've already been working in a different career and now they'd like to be a teacher. That can speed things up for them.
Yeah, sounds like some definite improvements to the existing programs. So we will be watching for those updates.
Those are going to be coming soon. They are not in the baby stages. Those are just waiting to be approved, and that could even happen during this school year then.
Great news. Mm-hmm. Mary, what would you say is one of the most common questions that you get as being in charge of the licensure here at ROE 47?
Well, I have about 3 things. One, this is renewal season, so a lot of it is about renewal right now. Why isn't the renewal button showing for me? And that's what we already talked about, your PD employment status. Sometimes it's because you don't have your professional development entered yet. Generally through the year, it's more about what would I need if I want to get math added or if I want to get business added. And I always say I'm the guesser, not the evaluator, but I could take a look at your transcripts and tell you what I think, and then explain the steps to apply for an endorsement. And we also have the short-term approval that they can get with the 9 semester hours instead of 18. And that has really helped a lot of people too, a lot of people in a lot of districts.
So Mary, as we kind of wrap up our conversation on licensure this morning, can you share with us, you have lots of years of experience and people lean on you pretty hard to help out with these really important questions. So if you had one piece of advice that you could give to our ROE 47 educators about licensure, what would that most important piece of advice be?
I think that it would be to call and check at the ROE. Like I said, I won't claim to know everything, but I will find out from other people or from my liaison at the state board. Don't take advice from your friends because everyone's situation is different. And even though it seems like, well, she got it and I should be able to get it, or why didn't I get it, and all of that, your situation is probably different. So just call. I love to help people. Just ask the question yourself, and then I'll do the best I can to help you with it. But don't take another teacher's advice or statement as the gospel for yourself. I guess that would be it.
Mary, that's a great piece of advice. It's kind of like it's kind of like healthcare advice, right? You don't want to kind of go off what Google says or a neighbor says per se. You really want to hear it from the experts. And we are so fortunate at ROE 47 to have you, Ms. Mary Escamilla, as our licensure officer and expert. Facebook friends, Mary goes above and beyond to help all of our ROE 47 educators get the answers that they need to their questions about licensure and renewal and alternative certification and all kinds of things. I think as we've talked this morning, one of the things I hope everyone realizes is that licensure is kind of messy. There's lots of spinning plates in the air all the time that are constantly changing. So again, we are so fortunate to have Mary in our office to keep up on all of that and to act as a lifeline to all of our substitutes, our paraeducators, our administrators, and our teachers. So Mary, thank you. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you for all those compliments.
Well, we certainly would not be able to get along without you. I know that you have also helped me over the years. Remember when it's my time to renew. So on a personal level, I appreciate that. So that, friends, wraps us up for another Thursday edition of our Teacher Talk here with ROE 47. We have been so blessed today to be joined by our licensure officer, Mary Escamilla, and my friend, colleague, and co-host, Ms. Stacy Dingus. And so we are going to wish you a really wonderful rest of your day. It's June. It's sunny. It's beautiful. So hoping that you're enjoying a wonderful summer. So take time out, get out of the house, go enjoy the nice weather outside. Have a great rest of your day, an even better weekend, and we will see you back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.